Hey, SPC family, how are you guys doing? I hope that everyone is having a great time. So, I'm here today to drop a sneak peek of Memorial Stones, Volume 1, Testimonies of God's Faithfulness and Provision in Times of Need. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. All right, so I'm here to drop a sneak peek of Memorial Stones, chapter 1 of the book, entitled A Country Girl Comes to Town. All right, so each chapter is headed by a scripture, and the scripture for this one is Proverbs 3, verses 5 to 6, where it says, Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct thy paths. All right, let's get into it. I was born and raised in Aberdeen, St. Elizabeth, so I am a country girl at heart. Prior to university, all my schooling took place in the parish. Except for the occasional school trip here and there, I had never been to or stayed any great length of time in Kingston. I remember coming to Kingston at one time to do some business in Papine. Since I couldn't find my way around, my brother accompanied me. As I looked out the bus window at 4 lanes of traffic, I became overwhelmed. It all seemed so foreign and confusing to me. I could not wait to get back to the peace and tranquility of Black River. I most certainly did not see myself living in Kingston. After high school, I worked for 3 years in order to save for my tertiary education. I really had planned to attend Teachers College, but my sister discouraged me as she thought it would be better for me to go to university. I reluctantly applied and was accepted at the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. So now I would have to come to Kingston for at least 3 years. I had no idea how it would work out, but I knew somehow it would. For the 3 years that I worked, I saved as much as I could to finance my university education. I lived with my sister and her husband in Black River, and so I was able to save a lot more than if I had been living on my own and paying rent. In addition, I applied for and received a loan from the Students' Loan Bureau. For my 7 years of high school at Hampton, I was a boarder, and so I was accustomed to having my meals prepared for me. While I lived with my sister and her husband, I would help out in the kitchen, but I was not the world's greatest cook. So imagine my surprise and dismay when I discovered that I would have to prepare my own meals on campus. I had no idea how to plan meals on a day-to-day basis. I was so accustomed to having everything done for me. Someone else usually had that headache. Now I would be required to take care of myself on my own. Coming from such a sheltered background, this was a big deal. I know how to cook, do laundry, do my own shopping, the works. In addition, I had to learn to balance all of that against classes and studying. I had no idea what I was getting into. I even entertained thoughts of backing out, but I had come too far to turn back now. So with a heavy pounding heart, I made my preparations to head to the city, the great unknown. From my savings, I was able to pay my fees for the semester and take care of the necessities. With students' loan, I was able to see my way through the first year, but knew not what would transpire after that. It was indeed a step of faith, but I knew that God would help me to realize this dream. After a few weeks on campus, I decided to visit my brothers in Patrick City. I had taken public transportation with other persons, So I had gradually learned the major landmarks such as Halfway Tree and Papine. But since I had never taken the bus by myself, I was filled with anxiety and trepidation. What if I missed my stop? What if I couldn't find the buzzer? Should I show one-stop driver, as I had heard other people doing? All of these thoughts plagued my mind as I embarked on my great adventure. I boarded a bus at the UWI Irving Hall gate. The journey was uneventful, and as I got closer to Halfway Tree, I could see the clock, the famous landmark, so I knew that leg of the journey was coming to an end. Halfway Tree was a major stop, so I had no need to press the buzzer or call out for the driver to stop, as countless other passengers were disembarking. Then it was time to find the Patrick City bus stop. I proceeded up Constant Spring Road, only to realize that traffic was heading in the direction of the clock. I knew that my destination was in the opposite direction, so now I was in a spot of bother. How would I get to where I wanted to go? To this day, I can't recall how I eventually got to the Patrick City bus stop. I must have asked a total stranger, as I knew no one on the street. And mark you, those were not the days of cell phones, so I could not call my brothers or anyone else to ask for help. Being wet behind the ears, I did not know the traffic on that section of Constant Spring Road was one way. But again, God came through for me and made a way. I eventually got a bus, number 48 in those days, and headed to Patrick City. Having memorized the way from previous visits, I knew that as the bus rounded the corner from Patrick City and entered Aberville Avenue, it was time to get off. And so I did. I had made it safely to my destination, mission accomplished. One of the major concerns of any student in university is the financing of their studies, and I was no different. So as it approached my first summer break, I began to pray for a summer job to provide funds to supplement my student's loan. To my delight, a friend told me about the Ministry of Labor's food stamp registration program, which was currently recruiting students to work in the various parishes across Jamaica during the summer holidays. I quickly signed up and did my training at the ministry's head office. It was then on to my old stomping ground, Black River, St. Elizabeth, where I would be based for the duration of the program. Our base was the Ministry of Labor office, where we were deployed to various communities throughout the parish. It was a glorious summer visiting health centers across the parish and registering persons for the food stamp program. I was able to visit places in the parish I had only heard about. In addition, I was able to visit places in the parish that I didn't even know existed. I had great fun and a sense of fulfillment serving the people of these communities, as well as earning well-needed funds. Amazing doesn't begin to describe this God who not only saves, but satisfies too. First year was awesome, and that was all God. Good. The beginning of the new school year was fast approaching, and I had nowhere to live. Somewhere had to be found fast. God again miraculously intervened. I ran into a friend that I had known from campus. She had also lost her room on campus, and she informed me that she had found accommodation in Papine, but was seeking a roommate. What a relief. I needed no convincing. I went with her to look at the place and decided immediately that I would take it. Riverview Avenue became my home for the remaining 2 years of university. It was walking distance from campus, so each day I embarked on my 30-minute walk to campus. I ensured that I got home early each evening before nightfall so I would be safe. It was a wonderful 2 years living in a house with other students from the University of the West Indies, that's UWI, and the University of Technology, UTech. There were also other students from other islands, and there was some amount of friendly and good-natured inter-island rivalry between us, while we all enjoyed the experience. My roommate and I got on very well, and there were no major incidents. I learned to live modestly within my means and was able to pay my monthly rent, buy food, and take care of other personal expenses for those 2 years, living mainly on students' loans and savings from my summer job. To God be the glory. At the end of my second year, God again came through in a major way for me. I landed a summer job at the National Housing Trust, NHT, as a reconciliation officer in the contributions refund department. As I sat in the orientation session, fear seized my heart as we were told that part of our duties was to visit various workplaces or businesses in Kingston in an effort to assist the employers to regularize their NHT contributions. My heart pounded with fear. Me visit workplaces in Kingston? I didn't drive and I didn't know my way around well enough, so that was out of the question for me. Now I was caught in a dilemma. I needed the money desperately, but I did not see myself doing what the job required. I had expected to just find my way to work each morning and sit behind a desk all day. I didn't bargain for this at all. But God made a way where there seemed to be no way. I can't recall all the details, but I remember that I was able to get a hold of a roadmap, and each time I was to visit an office, I would plan my route carefully. Thankfully, I am not directionally challenged, so I was able to read the map and find my way around. After making the initial contact, I would try to do as much of the legwork as possible by phone. I would also ask for specific directions to the business places and would even walk to the ones which were in the vicinity. In that way, I was able to get a better appreciation of the layout of the land, and eventually I felt more comfortable doing the job. All too soon, the summer was over and the job ended. Sigh. I had gained valuable professional experience while making new friends. I learned how to approach complete strangers and confidently explain to them the requirements of the NHT. I pointed out where they had fallen short and worked with them to ensure that the outstanding contributions were eventually paid over. Most importantly, I saw the hand of God move in my life as He provided another source of financial assistance for me to complete my studies. He indeed provided for me according to His riches in glory. In addition to that, He also gave me the strength, courage, and wisdom to do a job which I did not think I could do. I had to learn to draw on His strength, which He willingly supplied in my time of weakness. I had to learn to trust Him to lead because I did not know what was ahead of me. So that was chapter 1 of Memorial Stones, Volume 1, Testimonies of God's Faithfulness and Provision in Times of Need. So we see where the author mentioned getting through university. And if anybody knows that university fees are not easy to come by, if you don't have a parent to pay for it for you, then you know you have to work and pay for it yourself. I went through that for my bachelor's, and as a matter of fact, I'm doing that right now for my master's as well. It's not quite easy to get to go through it, working and juggling school. But hey, as Jamaican people would say, if you want good, you know that to run. So sometimes we just gotta make our way with God's help, with His guidance, with His strength. We will make our way. So that was join us on September 28th at 6 p.m. for the book discussion, the book review book club meeting where we're focusing on Memorial Stones Volume 1. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you so much for staying with us. Bye-bye.